Yo, yo, what's going on, everyone? This is Rebel Moon Theory here, aka the Curly Ray. And yes, we are on my main YouTube channel, the Curly Ray, today to review the Super Mario Galaxy movie, which came out yesterday. And I just wanted to do this review, man, because, yeah, I gotta edit some things around. Okay, there we go. So, yeah, so in this video or in this stream, I'm going to be reviewing the Super Mario Galaxy movie. So before we get started, so I want to remind everyone to check out my other YouTube channel, Rebel Moon Theory, which is where I do coverage for Zack Snyder's Rebel Moon, and I also discuss theories on that platform as well. So if you're super into Rebel Moon, and if you are a Zack Snyder fan, please check out Rebel Moon Theory, which you guys, I'll put a link down in the description after this stream. But in this stream, I wanted to review the Super Mario Galaxy movie, and I wanted to do this review because I was really into the Super Mario Galaxy games growing up because I played both the first and the second game on the Wii. And I actually still have my old saves from those original versions of the game because I know these games are on the Switch right now because they did remaster them on the Switch. But I actually still have the old saves from the original games. But I wanted to review this movie as someone who has really been like or who was really into the Mario games growing up. So I wanted to give out my knowledge on the game. So I played Mario Kart. I played all the Mario Kart games except for Double Dash. Mario Kart DS was the very first Mario game that I ever played. I played that on the DS Lite. I've even played the 3D Mario games except for Super Mario Sunshine, which I am also including Super Mario 3D Land and 3D World, both Super Mario Galaxy games and Super Mario Odyssey. I played the 2D Super Mario games. I played the original Super Mario Brothers. I've played Super Mario Brothers 2, Super Mario Bros. 3, Super Mario World. I've also played the new Super Mario Brothers games from the original that was on Nintendo DS to the one that came out on the Wii U. And I've also played the one that was for the original Wii and New Super Mario Bros. 2, which came out for the Nintendo 3DS. So, yeah. So I play a lot. I've also played a lot of other Nintendo titles as well. And I also saw the previous Super Mario movie that came out in 2023. Saw that movie in 3D and I really enjoyed it. And for someone who really grew up with the Super Mario Galaxy games, because I'm gonna be doing like a full without any spoilers, of course. I'm gonna I want to do this review by just breaking down like this movie by the knowledge I have from the Mario games I played because I've been seeing because there's been a lot of discourse for this movie and I wanted to break down just as someone who and it's like I said, as someone who grew up with the Super Mario Galaxy games, I wanted to break this movie down from someone who has played those original games, because the movie is titled Super Mario Galaxy, the Super Mario Galaxy movie, right? So this movie is set to be an adaptation of the Super Mario Galaxy games that came out for the Wii, right? So in this movie takes place after the first one that came out, and we have Bowser Jr. And I think he was a really great villain in this movie, but we have him and we have Rosalina, who was in the Super Mario Galaxy games. Now, I want to talk about how this movie is like laid out when it comes to the pacing without like spoiling anything, because there is a lot of Easter eggs and there's a lot of like there's a lot of things that are happening, and I can say that they are setting up something. I'm not going to say what it is, but they are setting up something. So, with this movie being based around Super Mario Galaxy, I wasn't expecting this movie to be like, a complete adaptation of the Super Mario Galaxy games that came out on the Wii, but more of like it is going to be based around that, but more they have a bunch of like, Easter eggs from or ways that make you feel like you played in this game. So, the way I felt watching this movie made me feel like played I was playing the Super Mario Galaxy games, and I'm gonna get into why. So, pretty much in the previous movie where, we got introduced to Mario and Luigi and all the characters as to where they came from and, how did they get here and all that. So, we already got that. As for Yoshi, we already knew where Yoshi came from, right? So, with this movie, there's been like talks about the pacing. And I think this is coming from the fact that so in the Super Mario Galaxy games, like since this is an adaptation, there is like points where people where the characters go to like plants to plants to plants to go here and there. The thing about that is that was what you did in Super Mario Galaxy. And for someone that played those games, I can tell you that I think they did a really I think this movie really did like stay close to the original Super Mario Galaxy game. Now, everything wasn't like 100% accurate because there are like changes with like Rosalina. I wouldn't say like big changes because like there is like scenes like where Rosalie and the Lumas are in their library, and you have Rosalina's like home ship from the first game, and you have you have that, right? And with the movie, something happens and Mario, Luigi, Peach, and Toad have to set out to stop this threat, right? So The thing about this movie when I was watching it and just watching, what was going on, this game felt like they were, like, really staying faithful to that first Super Mario Galaxy game. And of course, there's also elements from Super Mario Galaxy 2, but when I was watching this movie, it felt like they were staying close to that game. Now, I get, now there are, like, Easter eggs in this movie, like, a lot of them just like, with, like, the first one where we had, a bunch of Easter eggs in the first game where you had, like, this and this and that. It's like, "Oh, I remember this, I remember that." In this movie, you did have that as well, but with this movie being called the Super Mario Galaxy movie, it felt like they were doing this in a way if you were playing Super Mario Galaxy. So, because there's, like, certain things that happen in this movie that happened in the games that made me feel like that this is, like, they're literally taking this like it's the first Super Mario Galaxy game, and the characters are traveling to other different planets to stop this threat, right? Or to stop Bowser Jr., I mean. So, there when it comes down to the Easter eggs in the movie, um, there are some things in this movie that I think actually did work perfectly for this movie. And I want to actually talk about the characters. So, Mario, Luigi, Toad, and Peach were really good in the movie. I thought Bowser Jr. was really cool. And then there's Rosalina, which Rosalina I thought was a really great character in this movie. Now, I don't think she really has too much time in the movie, but I will say that with, what she had, the role she had in the movie, I think was done really well. Now, it wasn't like 100% like Super Mario Galaxy, like the one for the Wii, but she was a great character in this movie. And I thought the Lumas were great. There is another character in this movie that I even think was even like I think he had a good role in the movie too. I'm not gonna say who it is because it is a spoiler, but I thought he was great in it too. So, as for someone who grew up with the Super Mario Galaxy games, I'm just gonna say that I think this movie is probably my favorite out of the Super Mario movies so far. I think I liked this one more than I did the first one, and I'm not even saying that to say the first one wasn't great because I really liked the first one, but I really liked this movie because even though, it's still got, a lot of Easter eggs in it, I can say that they really stayed faithful to the Super Mario Galaxy games. And the last thing I wanted to share before, because I do gotta head out a bit early, but I just wanted to come on here live just shortly to discuss my non-spoiler thoughts about this movie. So there's been a lot of discourse surrounding this movie, and I have a theory on it. So we know that a lot of people don't listen to Rotten Tomatoes, right? However, that wasn't really the case back then because there were some people still listening to Rotten Tomatoes back then. But when it came to once it got to a point where everyone started to see that Rotten Tomatoes was, a bunch of baloney, Hollywood started relying on the influencers rather than Rotten Tomatoes. So I think this discourse is going on to prevent people to not wanting to listen to all the influencers. Because I think it's really weird that this movie is getting this type of discourse because there's been, some people talking about like, oh, the pacing's bad, the characters don't really get a lot of screen time, all that. Well, first of all, we already knew where the characters came from. And if you're talking about a specific character, I don't think it would be a reason to show off or give this specific character any telling when they're about to set up something, right? And if you're talking about like pacing wise, the point of this movie was to stay was to feel like an adaptation of the Super Mario Galaxy games. Which again, it's not like 100% like that in this movie, but there are a lot of Easter eggs in this movie that do like reference from those two games. I will say that. But even though it's not like super accurate like that, I think that they really did like this movie really made me feel like that this was a really faithful version of the Super Mario Galaxy game, right? And I really enjoyed it. And I think anyone who has played those games too really enjoyed too. So I think overall, I think this movie is coming out of discourse from people that may have not played those games or played it only once and probably don't remember from it. And and the fact that they probably just play the Mario games like same thing, which every Super Mario game has been like about saving Peach and all that, but this game, the Super Mario Galaxy games do have some lore to it. And I think this movie is definitely I definitely don't think this movie deserves the criticisms that it's getting, but this was a great movie. I really enjoyed this movie, had a wonderful time. I would give it a 9 out of 10. I think it's definitely a must watch. I definitely would recommend taking this movie to see with your kids. And that is it for this review. Just want to come on here and talk about this movie and you guys have a wonderful day.